And we should be live in a second.
Okay, are we good? We're good to go. All right, everybody, welcome to the premiere of Hypnotic Big Brother Season 3 Game Wars. Fun-filled season for you guys, full of your favorite video games from Pac-Man to whatever's current. I don't know. I'm not up to up to speed on that. That'll be Jacob's job. And speaking of Jacob, he's one of our lovely hosts, along with myself, Alex, and Heather, who is here as well. Before we get into all the boring stuff that we need to go over, just want to say thank you guys for playing our silly little game. The fact that we started this game like a year ago and we are now on a season 3 is is kind of mind blowing to us that we've had enough interest in order to do this. So yeah, thank you guys, and we hope you guys have fun with everything this season. Um, we Before we get into all the fun and spicy stuff, we do have some rules that we would like to go over. We have our uh, rules document, and this will all be posted in the announcements chat, so you guys can look at that later. So, ooh, yeah, okay. Well, okay, cool. All right, so here we go. So, first of all, everyone, if you've played the org before, you should have a general idea about how this works. But main rules are that there are going to be three main Skype chats for you to be aware of. First one is the house chat, which you're all already talking in. This is where you're able to chat with all your other fellow house guests, general conversation, whatever, whatever. The announcements chat, which is where any important updates, announcements, or Zoom links, whatever, will be posted by one of us. Very, very important rule is that no house guests are allowed to message in the announcements chat at any time. That chat is only reserved for messages from myself, Heather, or Jacob. Please do not uh, get us angry by saying stuff in there. Thank you. And your third important chat is your prod chat. This is the chat that where we've already changed your guys' pictures to your little profile pictures, your avatars for the seasons. This is where you'll do all your fun activities like send in your votes for eviction and take part in competitions. And that is also where you can feel free to rant to us about the game, about how you're feeling and stuff. And please give us all the information. We love to hear about it.
Yeah,
Um,
please tell us everything. I like drama.
Give
Thank
us
you.
all the tea, please. Yes. There's also a section in our rules about how Big Brother works in general, in case anyone needs a refresher, but I will skip over that for right now. Up next, we have our code of conduct. So, although this is a game and we're all here to have some fun, we have some important matters to go over first, so that this is a good experience for everyone. First, most importantly, any and all instances of bullying, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, or any other discriminatory actions will not be allowed in any capacity. Just keep things within the game. Don't get personal with anyone. We shouldn't have any problems. All right. Um, as a friendly reminder, we as production are people too. There is a chance we will do something like make a mistake on a competition or bring something into the game that might not be your cup of tea. But we still ask that you give us respect as both production members and as people. Um, there this should go without saying, but no cheating will be tolerated in this game, and this involves but isn't limited to discussing competition results before the competition ends. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Talking with evicted house guests about game related matters, and receiving information from the viewing lounge about the game. Next, you are not allowed to screenshot or forward any messages given by a house guest to any other house guests. That being said, if you're having a conversation with someone and they say something really funny that you want us to know about, feel free to forward it to us in there. Like we said before, give us the tea. As far as your production project goes, you will be allowed 2 guests. These guests are only allowed to be in one prod chat at a time. They can't be in multiple prod chats. So before you add anyone, please ask us and we will confirm whether or not they can be added. Um, Additionally, you are required to add members of production to one-on-one chats you may have with your fellow house guests. So please don't just talk in your regular Skype accounts. Please make one-on-one chats for each person in the game or just people you want to talk to. And this also goes to alliance chats made of 3 or more house guests. So please make sure you add all members of production. So that's me, Heather, and Jacob. And last but not least, if there are any issues within the game or any personal issues that you think that we as prods should be aware of, please feel free to message us. We will take any concern, no matter how big or small, as seriously as we need. So please don't hesitate to talk to us about anything, even if it's just personal stuff that's affecting you in the game. If you feel comfortable sharing, we want this to be as good of an experience for you as we can. Now, we can move on to the challenges, the competitions, the fun part. So, as everyone knows, a standard week of Big Brother will consist of a head of household competition and a veto competition. Competitions will be in one of 3 different types of formats. Live competitions, where all those participating will schedule a time they're available to compete, and the competition will take place live over Zoom. Usually we'll send out a poll saying which of these times work for you, and we'll pick the time that works best for everyone. Semi-live competitions, where those participating will schedule a time with a member production in their prod chat to do the competition, and we will do it over a private call. There may also be submission-based competitions where scheduling a time is not required, but you will be asked to send something in within a certain time frame, usually 24 hours. And there are also 24-hour competitions, which will take place over a 24-hour period and will be ongoing during that time period. We'll clarify all of this before a competition, so you guys will know exactly how that works. The results of each house guest participating in each competition will be announced publicly to the house following the completion. Please do not discuss results before anything is announced. Just gonna leave that there. And if there are any discrepancies regarding competition's results, let us know and we will try to fix everything as best as we can. And now on to the not so fun part of the game, the evictions.
I think they're the fun part.
Well, us, but if we're not in the game, if we're in the game, that might not be as fun. So each round will commence the eviction of one house guest.
Sorry, it's a silly little.
Thank you. You are not required to be at evictions, but it is recommended just in case something happens, especially if there's a live head of household competition following this. If you are not able to attend, we will just ask that you send in your vote ahead of time. If you are evicted, then what will happen is you will be removed from the house chat and announcements chat, and then depending on how you place, you'll be moved to another chat. If you're evicted prior to the start of the jury, you'll be added into a separate pre-jury chat, and we'll update you as the game progresses from there. If you're evicted during the jury, you'll of course be added to a jury chat, and when other jury members come in, you are encouraged to talk about the game, the finalists, all that good stuff. We have another section about finale night.
But we're not needing to go into that.
Exactly, that's a little far.
And I feel like now we can go into the fun part, which is this season. Do you want to still say things?
Yeah, I'll still say things.
Okay, go ahead.
So, with that being said, we got all the boring stuff out of the way, and now we can introduce the first twist of the season. And we are calling this twist the multiplayer twist. And here is how it will work. For each week moving forward, instead of one HOH, there will be two HOHs. In order to determine these head of households, we will be randomly splitting the house into two groups before each head of household competition. After this, everyone will compete in the same competition, but each house guest will only be competing for head of household with the people in their group. The house guests that score the best in each group will become co-head of households. Each HOH will be responsible for nominating one house guest for eviction, and to incentivize the house guest that does better of the two will get to name their initial nominee first. In the event that the veto is used, whichever HOH put up that initial nominee is responsible for naming a replacement nominee. Does anyone have any questions about this before we divide the house? All right, silence is great.
We can also answer any questions on
Yeah,
the
we'll
live stream later as well.
Yes. Now let me see if I can share a screen. All right, does everyone see the wheel? Okay. So, with that being said, we have all 16 house guests here. And now we will start dividing the groups. First house guest in group A is Philly. Next house guest in first house guest in group
the wheel.
The wheel takes them off.
Okay, just making sure.
I think. Yeah, it takes them off. Okay. First house guest in group B is Adrian. Next house guest in group A is Juan. Next house guest in group B is Liz. In group A, Logan. Group B is Benji. Group A, you have Joanne. Group B, you have Chris. Group A, we have Mike. Group B, we have Cody. Group A, Harley. Group B, Morgan. Group A is Wesley. Group B, Eric. And finally, Group A is Sergio, meaning Becky is the last person for Group B. We will send the entire list of groups in the announcements chat later, but those are our first groups. Remember, in order to win one of the head of household positions, you only have to place first in the group that you are in, and you'll be responsible for nominating one house guest for eviction. These groups will change week to week, so you're not stuck with the same people. This will only be for this head of household competition.
Yeah.
The first head of household competition is a semi-live competition. So please schedule a time in your project for this. We will give you 24 hours, so we'll say by 10 p.m. EST tomorrow night. Does anyone have any more questions before we head off for the night. All right. Welcome to Hypnotic Big Brother. Hope you guys have a good time. We'll see you later.